Hi, everybody. I'm really excited to be here. My name is Marcelo Ishida, and I'm going to talk a little bit about Meraki. But before that, let me introduce myself. So I'm Global Systems Architect with 24 plus years of industry experience. I joined Cisco 12 years ago. I joined Cisco as a consulting engineer in services team. Then I became solutions architect, working mostly with pre-sales, still in services. Stayed there for 8 years. And in the last 5 years, I shifted to the sales side of the house. I'm now a global systems architect, representing Cisco in LATAM for around 48 global brands. Out of that, I always loved the enterprise networking technology, so I decided to specialize myself. As you may notice, I took the CCIE some years ago. And also, as I joined the sales side of the house, I got to know about this business architecture thing. I was curious about that, and you know what? I went after this, and I became also a specialist on the business architecture techniques. And today, I represent the business architecture within the CGM in Americas. Um, I was also always attached to being a speaker, sharing my knowledge. I always loved to do that, and I keep trying to do as much as I can, or as much as the time permits, right? So what you may notice, I put here several internal and external events that we have at Cisco. So I try to share my knowledge still, being a speaker in those events. And last but not least, as a Brazilian native, I'm a barbecue lover, of course. Okay, so what I prepared for you for today. What we're going to cover on this presentation is I'm going to touch base and talk a little bit about the power of data and why data is important, or if it's not, why it could be important for you in your company. Second, I'm going to go through a day in my life as a sales engineer. What is that like? And then also, of course, I'm going to try to tie that back to the data and why data is important in a daily basis for me and for my customers. Then, right after, I'm going to do the same. So I'm going to replicate exactly the same day I have with this customer example, but now using Meraki. So first thing, I'm going to show you a day in my life without Meraki, and then I'm going to put Meraki on the same day in the life. Last but not least, I'm going to speak a little bit about sustainability. Why? Because I know it's top of mind for many organizations, for many companies. Okay, let's start. Let me talk a little bit about the power of data, or why data is important. You may know, or maybe not, hopefully yes, every day the technology that you guys may have in your companies generates data. That data is gold. And why it is gold? Because if you are using that to create, for example, a baseline and trying to understand what's going on exactly with your business, this data is crucial to give you some insights on that. I'll give you an example. You can have, for example, a 1,000 stores where this data is being generated for each of those stores in regards to the consumers that go every day, right? So the big question here is, are you leveraging that data to take better business decisions? And this was one unique example. Can you think of how data could be important and could be leveraged within your companies to take better business decisions, or to make the revenue grow, or to take whatever is going to be good for your company in regards to that? One of the things we also realized, speaking with our customers, is that most of them either they don't know where this data is generated, or they are not taking advantage of that, or sometimes they know they have been generated, but they don't know how to use that. They don't have the right tool, they don't have the right technology. So that's why we have noticed that most of the customers either are not going to use this data, or will never know what are the benefits of this data. The way Meraki sees this is totally different, which is data is important and is part of our ecosystem. So if you notice here, there's a lot of different devices we have as solutions, but what we do is we use those devices as sensors, and we keep capturing everyday data and populate our baseline. Our idea is if the customer wants to do that, it's available for them to start using this to the machine learning, to the AI built-in Meraki technology. Let me pause for a moment and let me do a quick recap, especially for the ones that never heard of Meraki. So what is Meraki? Meraki is a cloud-based architecture where we leverage the simplicity, the access from anywhere, and of course, the built-in intelligence, the AI machine learning. So if you never heard of Meraki, I really encourage you to do some research or go talk to your account rep from Cisco just to get to know it better. I'm pretty sure it's going to change the way you do business. Going back to the ways of leveraging that data that I was mentioning before, within Meraki, there are lots of ways of doing that. One of the ways is through the developer portal that we have. Of course, programmability is top of mind for many of our customers, and we have seen that growing more and more. So one of the ways Cisco is doing to leverage that is we created developer portal where you can find different ways to leverage that through programmability. So one of the things you can do is take advantage of pre-built code and do it yourself, or you can even use some of the other examples according to what we have in the portal. Another way of leveraging the data within Meraki is by using the partner ecosystem. The difference here is basically if you don't have the expertise, you don't need to worry about. You just go to our partner ecosystem, look at the different use cases they offer per industry there, and see which one matches your needs according to your industry, right? And then what you can do is they are going to work for you. They are going to prepare, get all this data from the Meraki devices, and they are going to pre-populate that in a nice and clean dashboard. So you just get access to that and start taking advantage of this, pre-built dashboard with good information for your business. Okay, let me pause for a moment. Just a quick recap. So I spoke a little bit about data, why it is important, how Meraki sees that, and what are some of the ways Meraki has to leverage that data. Now, what I'm going to do next here is I'm going to guide you through a normal day in my life. So I have a customer. It's a global customer I support. What I'm going to replicate here is exactly one day in my life when I go speak to this customer, which is actually a CISO. As you may know or not, a CISO is a guy with a strong importance within the organization with regards to the security, in regards to leveraging that technology, secure technology within the company. So let me replicate a normal day in my life without Meraki. So I'm not going to touch Meraki in any part of the conversation. Let's start. Okay, Marcelo starts his day. I go just meet with the CISO, which looks like he was not happy with an existing worldwide global solution adopted in regards to sensors and cameras to manage the whole infrastructure he has. Then he start saying some of those pain points. The very first pain point he told me is that he's concerned about the solution because it is totally decentralized, meaning that they have parts of the solution managed by APJ region, parts of that managed by Americas, part of that managed by Europe and Africa. So totally decentralized. Second point he mentioned is that there are too many puzzle pieces into that solution. Meaning that, for example, if you look back at the cameras and sensors, the way it works today is like CFTV, right? They have thousands of different pieces and parts, servers to get the image storage for long times, right? They get, for example, sensors totally disconnected from a centralized network operations center, for example, right? So on and so forth. So he shared those kind of concerns as well. Third pain point he mentioned, those systems are completely isolated. So in terms of generating data or taking advantage of that generated data into their business, it's totally lost. So there is no way, because when I did speak with this customer, what I emphasize is exactly the point I was speaking about data, right? How important is data? How he was handling the data generated on a daily basis. So that was exactly the same conversation. And he told me, you know what? I know lots of those systems generate data, but they are all disconnected because they're isolated solutions. And of course, out of that, the pain point number 4 is if they're all isolated, I don't have the data, I don't have a baseline. So how can I leverage that? How can I take better decisions out of that? I'm not using what's supposed to be there for me because I'm lacking on having a good technology, a good solution for that. But that is all, remember, that's all before having Meraki. So that was a common day in my life, having a meeting with the CISO and some of the pain points he shared. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to talk a little bit about the same day in the life, but using Meraki. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to address those pain points and show the value of Meraki in each of those pain points. So let's move for that. Okay, moving on. Now, a day in the life with Meraki. So what I'm going to do now is run through the same day in my life, speaking with that CISO, but now using Meraki. So Marcelo starts his day the same way. He goes meet with the CISO, which was not happy with the existing worldwide solution deployed in regards to cameras and sensor. When he starts speaking about the first pain point of decentralized management, what Marcelo will do is actually say, you know what? I may know of a great solution. It's called Meraki, where it has this pain point in regards to decentralized management solved. If you allow me, I may run a quick demo just to show you what I'm talking about. So then what I'm going to do is run a quick demo for him just to show what Meraki has as best in terms of having this decentralized thing solved. So with that, let me go with the quick demo for them. Okay, so let's start the demo. So this is the Meraki dashboard. So what I'm going to do is log in with my own login here. Of course, every customer has its own login. And of course, he only will have visibility to the approved devices or sites, as you may see here. For example, in this case, I'm using a Meraki corporate access. So of course, what I have access is all the Meraki Corp sites and devices. So if I go into the Meraki corporate, what you can see is I go into view all networks firsthand. Then I see all the networks across the world. So if I, minimize, I see those numbers, which actually are the networks and the devices across the world. If I maximize that, I can see the networks by name. So you see London, San Francisco, Sydney, Tokyo, all of that. I can also see the devices, all the devices listed, all the devices type. If I want to choose some of them, if I want to search, I can come here and, let me filter by MR20 access point. So looks like we only have this one, for example, but if we change that, let's say for MS355, we see a lot of other MS355 across the different sites, as you can see. So it makes it pretty easy for us to do a search by device. And all this green thing here, it means that it's operationally working fine. If it's not, it would be like red, for example. So it's really a single pane of glass, one place to go for all the networks, all the devices. One additional thing, if you go to the top left here, you click here, you see all the networks being created. So it means that, for example, if I choose Meraki Tokyo, it's gonna go and open the Meraki Tokyo site. And if I wanna look at this topology to see what device we have there, we click here in the topology. And what's gonna show me is that I have 2 access points. Looks like a very small site, right? And 2 MS355 switches, as you can see here, okay? So what I mean is all the sites are gonna have its own configuration, its own number of devices, but the good part of it is that, you know, I only needed one access to see all in one single place. And that's the simplification I mentioned before. So with that, let's move on. Okay, going back to the main point. So now that we have presented why Meraki is a good solution in terms of having a centralized access from anywhere, addressing pain point number 1, let's look at the pain point number 2, where the Cisco state is concerned in regards to the existing solution having too many puzzle pieces. And out of that, what we explained to him is that also with Meraki, he would get single pane of glass, which means having in a centralized management unique dashboard, different sites covering all the different devices, sensors, cameras, and much more, all in a unique interface. So now the idea is to show that in real life. So let's run the demo number 2 to show him exactly that point. Okay, just continuing here with the demo number 2. Now, just keeping in mind that the idea is to show all the different devices in a single place. So making his life much easier in terms of integration and supporting. So here for the demo, I selected Meraki San Francisco office at the top left. Then once we get there, what we can see is, let's look at the topology to see all the devices we have there connected to this site. So it is going to load. This is, by the way, this is one of the biggest Meraki corporate sites. This is the actual San Francisco Meraki office. That's why you see maybe taking some time to load here. Okay, it is getting there. So you see a lot of devices connected there or assigned to that site. So you see, for example, different cameras, MV72, MV12W, so on and so forth. You also see different switches. You also see different access points, MR56, so on and so forth. You see also the clients connected to those, as you can see here. What else? Yeah, pretty much all the structure and all the devices and who is connected to who. Then one of the main points here is, if you look at the left side, you see different menus here, and they actually refer to specific devices. For example, if I go over the wireless menu and I click access points, what's going to show me is all the access points actually connected to that site. You see the actual status, so it's green because it's online. There was no outage across the time as well. And by the way, I'm looking at the last day statistics, so I can check, I can click here and change for last week, for last month. Then I can have access to one specific access point if I wish. For example, I click on this first one, AP08. That's going to bring up the access point dashboard with all the details on connected clients, uplink traffic right now, all the SSIDs configured on that, all the details, the channels and everything. So a lot of options, as you may see here, but that's not the point. The point is that showing in one unique interface, one unique dashboard, all those options, and different than the existing solution of that Cisco reported, as you can see, you see not like a disconnected puzzle pieces, but rather you see in one single place, very well organized, by different types of devices, and you can pretty much click on those devices to get access or to see more specifics in regards to that. For example, cameras is the same. You see all the cameras, connected to that site. You see all the sensors. If I click on sensors as well, so very well organized. Actually, the site looks like there is no sensors on that. That may happen. Oh, sorry, it took some time. Actually, there are some. It takes some time sometimes to load, but it may happen that you may not have some of those device types. What's going to happen is that actually the menu is not supposed to appear here. So if you go to another site, which I can show you here, let's try this one, Meraki Krakow. See, some of the menus disappear because we don't have those kind of devices. Okay, so that's pretty much what we plan to cover on this demo too. And then hopefully you could see exactly what was the single interface for all the device types per site in a very organized way. Let's move on. Okay, so coming back from the demo on single pane of glass, let's see the next concerns. So the next one, or the pain point number 3, I know you're having a lot of issues with isolated generated data per system, which is impacting you on moving forward with better shaping your business. So with that said, let me point out some of the opportunities I see for us to make it better or to leverage these solutions. I know you guys also are in charge of managing the OT side of the house in terms of giving access to specific places within your infrastructure across the country. So for that, what we have is using our partner ecosystem, we are able with a little camera integrated with this partner ecosystem in the cloud to send the real-time streaming. And what the partner ecosystem does is he's going to look real-time if the people trying to get access into those places, restricted places, are using a full PPE kit. If not, it's going to be integrated with an even third-party system which controls, like, let's say, giving access to a specific door or denying it to take specific actions. With that, I'm pretty sure it would avoid a lot of problems for you, or even getting people damaged or with having any kind of healthy problems because of that. The next one, I know you guys have a lot of data centers that you manage across the country as well. And what about looking at temperature, looking at door open or close, specifically, for example, for getting access to specific racks, which has a lot of servers in it, right? And also on top of that, managing the temperature on those environments. We also have all those sensors that could be creating specific to show situations for, let's say, if we see any kind of water leaking, send a message to the facilities team who manage this environment. The same for kind of if it goes above or beyond some kind of a temperature range. The same thing if you see kind of if you put an open close sensor in a rack door and you see something open, it's gonna send out every time it opens, send out a message to the facilities owner or to the server rack owner. Those kind of things we know that helps a lot. Another one that's been very common lately is about hybrid work. So with the same collected data from streaming from cameras, what we can do is we can manage different positions, and we can offer, for example, specific actions. Let's say in the middle here, you see a picture of a specific floor where we kind of make a drawing in different zones. And then what it gives to us real time is the occupancy of that zone. We can set up a threshold. Let's say, okay, if it goes beyond or above some kind of a specific percentage of occupancy, send an alert to somebody to take action, right? Those kind of things. And more than that, we can even use this kind of system to create a baseline of site utilization. And with that, take better decisions. Or maybe if you have, like, let's say, 5 or 6 floors rent, and then you want to, just reduce that to 2 floors because nobody is actually going to the office as normally it's supposed to be, saving money as well. So a lot of examples that we could leverage through that data. Another thing, I know you guys have a lot of retail stores. So this is another great example where we play a little bit with occupancy on different charts, as you can see. And what we can do is we create a baseline, or we create a kind of a long-term observation on how those places are actually occupied by customers. With that, what you can do is many different things. You can do, for example, you can create combined sales. Maybe if you look at, for example, at the right chart on the blue lines, what the blue line means is where most of the people, walk inside your store. So with that, okay, if they are not going through some other specific paths, maybe it's because the product that I'm putting there, nobody's interested. Or if I want to make that, promote that product, what I can do is, look at one place that the line is always there, right? Just try to put near to those products, which seems to be the most interesting products for the consumers, right? In your case, try to put near those most interesting products some other products that nobody cares or looks like nobody cares, right? And then you try to create kind of combined sales. This was just one example. And I'm pretty sure you can, looking at the occupancy, you can take other actions as well. Okay, I just mentioned some of the examples because I knew, that could be, from your interest because of the business of your company. But next, what I would like to also mention is looking specific at the machine learning AI technology. We also have one example that might be interesting to you because you mentioned to me about the no predictability causing business disruption, correct? So that example is called computer vision. So we have a partner, which actually the way it works is the camera's position in the environment are going to send a snapshot of the in different times of the day with some kind of a sample to the cloud of that partner, which is called computer vision. And then what it happens is that according to what the situation is happening, the computer vision with AI and machine learning will allow the system or the cloud system from the partner to learn new situations that might be beneficial or not as good as we wish for the business. One example that I can give you, if you look at the chart in the left side, right, from a health company, we put like this intelligent camera with computer vision monitoring the production line. As you can see, you see the purple, it's not following a standard that was learned when we took those snapshots from the other ones, right, which are in green. So that is one great example to show how also the AI and machine learning can help you learning about your business and readapting to that. And last but not least, let's talk a little bit about sustainability, because I know it was not one of your main pain points, but I know it's kind of top of mind for all the companies talking about ESG now. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about sustainability and what Meraki is doing in regards to that. So first of all, one of the things that sometimes we forget about, right, is not only looking at the technology, but also, try to keep evolving without disrupting everything, right? So this is one of the things very important to us to keep in mind, um, as well as looking at technology outcomes, money, investment, and all of that, right? So, as always, what we try to do here is we try to understand first, before finding a solution, why this is important, right? So, we spoke a little bit about data in the beginning, and we try to understand and explain a little bit what are the main concerns or what are the main situations in regards to that. Here's the same, but just looking at sustainability as a topic. So, if you look at some of the main trends or benchmarks from the market, we see more and more sustainability as a priority. We also see a lot of regulations, and it's not only us as like enterprise companies, right, saying that. It's the whole world in different industries being affected because of that, and in the end of the day, the human being affected because of that as well, right? Some other things and interesting numbers we see is when we go back to the millennials, we see the different, the different mindset they have in regards to that topic, as well as, of course, when it comes back to, circular economy, when it comes back to money and how it can affect not only the technology but all the industries. With that in mind, Meraki is no different and is trying to think about that, and see what the technology that we have and what we can do with this technology for the good, what we can do in regards and in favor of sustainability outcomes. So we put that in three pillars: energy savings, waste reduction, and travel reduction. So within each of those pillars, you see different benefits coming from different solutions. Okay, so I can mention, for example, on the energy saving, HVAC efficiency, which is mostly used in smart buildings today. Okay, we can see, for example, in travel reduction, the use of remote monitoring as it was in natively. It came when Meraki was born, right? So it comes natively with Meraki, within remotely managing through our solutions, as well as waste reduction, with a lot of avoid food and water waste, a lot of measurements and actions we can take inside, let's say, our home or our enterprise companies, in favor of that. Going a little bit deep into what we have today and what we can, help on that topic. For example, a lot of sensors that we have, door open, close sensors, temperature, humidity, we can help a lot, reduce the waste, of HVAC, and turn that into more efficient environments. Of course, saving energy and a lot of things out of that. We can also use, for example, smart cameras that we have. And out of that, what we get is, instead of having employees to fly to those places physically, we can, why not put some cameras to monitor those places, and remotely those guys can, create their own environment to monitor. They can create their own thresholds and alarms if something happens. So why not try to leverage the technology in favor of that? More than that, we have some air quality, that can pretty much help in terms of a better environment for the people, for the good health, for the employees, as well as water leak sensor that I already mentioned. When we can prevent waste of water in certain situations in regards to sustainable environments. So all of those things are some examples that we are working in regards to our technology. One of the things I always like to speak about is about our own example, which is what we call internally Cisco on Cisco. So if you can look at this little link here, there is a virtual tour. There's thousands of examples on sustainability that we did complete rebuild on one of our offices based in New York. It's called New York One Penn Plaza. So if you had some time, I really encourage you guys to open that link and go through those little details so you can pretty much see what we are doing in a kind of a way of Cisco. One more concrete example, and really and heavily used by our customers, we have a way to shut down switch ports and SSIDs, when there is nobody in the office. So why not you create something that would automatically disable or disable for a period of time according to the date and time of the week, for example, as you can see here. And when people are coming back to the office on Monday morning, everything automatically re-enables again. So with that, we are going to save a lot of energy, for example, on that part. Last but not least, there is also a native electronic shelf label. In this use case, what we do is we promote a way better integration when it comes back to all the environmental that we need to connectivity in regards to the Wi-Fi. So with our technology, we are able to provide a way better end-to-end connectivity with Imago in regards to that. Okay, just closing out here. So what were some of the key takeaways from our session here? We realized how data could be powerful in terms of using that back into our own business or better shaping our business according to those insights and baseline. We also touch base on what are some of the key benefits of using that data within the Meraki ecosystem. And I gave you two examples of a day in the life. One is a day in the life without using Meraki at all, and the other one is using Meraki and how Meraki can benefit you of using that data. Last but not least, how Meraki is looking at sustainability and how and what are actually the measurements and the metrics and all the actions that we are putting for ourselves, to be more sustainable and in the end of the day, offer a better solution for our customers. So with that, there's thousands of other sessions on the Cisco Live On Demand library. Highly recommend you to go have a look and see what is related to your business, what drives some more interest from you. And I'd like to thank you very much for your time, and hopefully this session, at least helped you a little bit to understand what we are doing within our Meraki ecosystem. Thank you very much.